Hey guys, and welcome to the Coffin Heroes Show / Coffin Heroes podcast. Coming to you through video on YouTube, or if you prefer audio, you can obviously check out the Coffin Heroes podcast as well, wherever good podcasts are found. Just going to be a solo show this month for the previews. So I've got all my previews books here. Got DC, Marvel, IDW, Image, the main previews book. Yeah, the amount of individual books now is a little bit scary. I remember when we first opened, it used to be that everything was in one book, but obviously as distribution methods have shifted and so forth, everyone just seems to have their own book now, so that is the case. So yeah, this is going to be a preview show, taking you through the June books for releases due out in August of this year. We've already done the board in the store, which just basically sort of does top 3 picks for DC, for Marvel and independent publishers. So you can certainly check that out anytime you're in the store. They're the ones we sort of think are most deserving of your hard-earned cash, but there's certainly a lot more besides that as well. The previous books are always going to be in the store. I've started ordering more copies, so you've got copies on each table in the sort of seating area. There's copies up at the till. Basically, whatever way you prefer to have a look through, the previous books will always be here for you. So, as I say, these are predominantly releases due out in August. There may be 1 or 2 advanced solicitations, but it's just to take you through the books, as I say. So we'll kick things off with the DC book. The DC book's always a little thinner than certainly the Marvel book, as you can see. I think DC have been very good recently at trimming down their product line, trimming down the amount of titles and focusing on quality more than quantity. So there's not tons of new stuff due out this month, but there are definitely a couple of significant ones worth pointing out. The first one that we stuck actually on the board for DC was this one, which is called Immortal Legend Batman. Basically looks like Batman Power Rangers, to be honest. From the team behind the Massiverse, so that's all your Radiant Black, your Rogue Sun, all that kind of stuff. Behind that universe comes a new Batman epic. So, written by Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom, with art by Erica D'Urso and Dan Mora. Cover by Dan Mora. Where does he find the time? Humanity broke the barrier between our universe and our universe's shadow. From the void came horrific apparitions that crave nothing but destruction. But from this terror, a legend was born. A warrior who found a way to access the energy that binds our universe and the shadow universe, transforming him into a cosmic dark knight. This immortal legend was named Batman. He fought to keep us safe, but then one day abandoned the war. Though he didn't disappear entirely. Now they say he hunts a rogues gallery of monsters born from the shadows. So some great preview art in the books there as well. I've already got interest in that book already, which is not too surprising. We flick the page over and we have Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. So this is another very well-established and Eisner Award-winning, actually, creative team on this. It's written by W. Maxwell Prince with art and cover by Martin Morazzo. So that's the team behind Ice Cream Man through Image Comics. So this is going to be a 5-issue miniseries. The team behind the critically acclaimed Ice Cream Man comic comes to DC to apply its singular storytelling style to none other than the Man of Steel. 4 new kryptonites have been discovered in deep space, and Superman needs to know just what exactly they do to him, lest the colourful rocks of his home planet fall into evil hands. With Batman at Superman's side, this DC Black Label Superman event explores the consequences of each never-before-seen variety of kryptonite, all in the formal and boundary-pushing fashion that W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo and colours Chris O'Halloran are celebrated for. So same again, you can see some preview art on this. Definitely evokes sort of Frank Quitely style. It evokes All-Star Superman, and that can never be a bad thing. So we continue through the book, and there's a lot of titles just continuing. Your absolute books, you know, Batman Hush is coming to an end before the relaunch for Batman #1 coming soon. Justice League Unlimited continuing. This one caught my eye though, which is Justice League Red #1. So this is from the team of Saladin Ahmed, who's predominantly working on Marvel at the moment, is currently working on Daredevil. Has done a few other things recently as well. Art by Clayton Henry, who seems to be a bit of a DC stalwart at the moment, working predominantly on Superman titles. The Justice League has a new special ops team so covert the founders can't know it exists, and its leader is the only hero who could keep JLR off its radar, because he is the radar. Red Tornado is the heart and the mind of Watchtower Watching, projected into the future, and his projections point to apocalypse as a direct result of the concentrated power of the JLU. When your Justice League ID card lights up red, Reddy needs you. for the fate of humanity and for yourself, because you don't want to find out what Red can do with what he knows about you. Join a best in the biz creative team, Saladin Ahmed, currently working on Wolverine and Daredevil, and Clayton Henry, Action Comics, and an all-star team of heroes, and find out how far they'll go to keep the peace and keep Red Tornado's secrets. So we turn the page again, and it's all about superstar creative teams, certainly this month. This is a book that is maybe not got a title that rolls off the tongue, but we did put this on the board as well. This is Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League. Now, the reason this is significant is because it heralds the return to DC after quite some time of Greg Rucka writing and Nicholas Scott on art. A daring heist aboard the most secure facility in the DCU. Cheetah and Cheshire assemble a team of misfits and oddballs to pull off the impossible, robbing the Justice League Watchtower and getting away with it. All that stands between them and pulling off the most daring heist in history are a few tiny complications, such as the most sophisticated orbital platform ever constructed, its AI-driven security system, and one other thing, the smartest and most powerful heroes in the DCU. Eisner Award winners Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott bring you a slick, stylish heist that guarantees fun, laughs, and more than a few twists and turns. So yeah, that looks great as well. We've got Nightwing coming up and continuing to be great. You've got Batgirl, World's Finest, New Gods continuing, Green Lantern Corps, which I always say is the most underrated book DC are doing at the moment. Long Halloween is up to its second last issue. So loads and loads of good stuff there. We get towards the back of the book, and that's when you get into your collected editions, and there are a couple of really good ones this month. First of all, catching the eye is Two-Face Trial Separation. This was a 6-issue mini-series by Christian Ward. Christian Ward on writing duties and Fabio Veras on art. It's a bit of an exploration into the psyche of Harvey Dent. Only 6 issues, which was a bit of a shame. It would have been nice for it to go a little longer. We've got a new DC compact this month. Batman The Long Halloween, one of the greatest Batman stories ever told, if you ask me. You're getting all of that. 376 pages for that £9 price point is just phenomenal. The DC compacts, I've said it many times before, probably the best value in comics at the moment. Outside of that, you've got Swamp Thing by Len Wein and Kelly Jones, the deluxe edition, a great Swamp Thing run there. 432 pages. Over 40 years after co-creating the character, Len Wein returns to Swamp Thing with Master of Horror Kelly Jones. Another omnibus that catches my eye is the Jonah Hex All-Star Western omnibus. So Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray's celebrated modern run is finally collected in omnibus format. So well over 1,000 pages there. Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray bring DC Comics' most notorious bounty hunter into the New 52 in Jonah Hex All-Star Western Omnibus, collecting the entire series from All-Star Western 0 to 34. I loved All-Star Western, I thought it was great. They even had stories in it linking the Court of Owls 100 years before the Batman New 52 run. And then the last one, just to point out, because it's something I didn't even really know existed, but I really now can't wait for it, is Batman Arkham Asylum Living Hell. So this is going to get a deluxe edition as well, deluxe edition hardcover. The reason I didn't know about it is it's written by Dan Slott. Now, I genuinely didn't think Dan Slott had written for DC before. Of course, he's currently writing Superman Unlimited. Art by Rand Sook, and this is a dark and chilling prison drama. Batman Arkham Asylum Living Hell exposes the true depravity and lunacy of Batman's greatest foes and the notorious sanitarium they call home. The deluxe hardcover edition collects issues 1 to 6 of the critically acclaimed series from Dan Slott and Rand Sook. The volume features never-before-seen sketches and never-before-seen bonus material from Rand Sook. So that is the DC book, nice and trim, as I say. There are other titles in there. There's 1 or 2 starting points for ongoing titles at the moment. You can certainly check out the books in the store. Or the other good thing with DC Connect is that it's online, so just Google DC Connect, and that is issue 61. So we move away from DC and on to Marvel. Now, Marvel, as I say, much chunkier book. Marvel are putting out loads and loads of titles at the moment. I've had discussions in store about this. I personally think they're maybe putting out a wee tiny bit too much. When we're doing our new release racks for New Comic Book Day, you're having to put new titles in behind new titles for Marvel. It's almost like they're throwing a lot at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's not to say that there's not loads of great quality at Marvel at the moment. There's lots of great series, and this week especially was one I really enjoyed. with some big events kicking off. But yeah, lots to dive into in the Marvel Universe. So we will kick things off with the headline book, which is X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha, right here, from superstars Jeff Loeb and Simon DeMeo. You can't miss this series that will change the X-Men forever. How many times do we hear that in a Marvel book? Every time. An all-new return to the Age of Apocalypse featuring Gambit, Blink, Sabretooth, Wildchild, Forge, Morph, and more. That's going to kick off with a 40-page number 1. And yeah, that leads the way in the Marvel book. Next one is Marvel All-on-One number 1. The Thing versus the Marvel Universe, a 50-page epic told entirely in splash pages. So, if nothing else, that is going to look glorious. Written by Rand North with art by Ed McGuinness. Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, he's the ever-loving idol of millions and powerhouse of the Fantastic Four. He's also tired. He's sore and he's grumpy. There's always a new threat facing the world or the galaxy or the universe, and somehow he and the rest of the Fantastic Four are always the only ones who can stop him. Ben Grimm is sick and tired of it. He just wants a break. But when he returns to Earth after a solo mission in space to discover the Fantastic Four have turned against him, along with the rest of New York City and apparently the entire world, he's got a mystery to solve and a whole wide world to clobber. Ben Grimm takes on the entire planet in this special Marvel Anniversary issue across 50 pages of incredible non-stop action. It's Marvel as you've always wanted to see it, at our biggest, our baddest, at our most clobberinest. It's the wildest story we've ever published. It's Marvel All-on-One. Preview art for it looks great. There's some great sort of black and white sketches for the art in the previous book, so that is definitely one to keep an eye out for. Another one going back to number 1, because again, Marvel can't resist the number 1. It's Thor number 1. Thor has been written by Al Ewing for the last little while, under the guise of the Immortal Thor, going for 25 issues. Al Ewing is staying on the title, but they're relaunching with Thor number 1. So again, it's something Marvel have done a couple of times recently. They've sort of changed the subtitle of a book just so they can go back to number 1, but the creative team have stayed the same. And I totally understand the urge to do it. It's jumping on points for new readers. It simplifies things to a degree, but it does tend to alienate sort of older readers, older collectors. But say so. So Thor number 1, it's written by Al Ewing, art by Pascal Ferry. Alex Ross staying on covers, I'm delighted to say. The legend begins. The Norse myths tell us of gods who walked the earth, doing great deeds for the mortals who believed in them. But Asgard isn't real, and never was. The gods never soared in our skies, never stood with our heroes, never fought for kindness or justice. It was all just a story. Nobody's coming to help us. But somewhere in the city, a man is waking up. A man with a hammer. That is a great solicitation, I have to say. It chills. So yeah, Thor number 1. Another one that went straight on the board is Black Cat number 1. Always a popular character within the Marvel Universe, within the Spider-Man universe, and getting their own title now from G. Willow Wilson, no less, responsible for one of my favourite runs through Miss Marvel. So G. Willow Wilson writing Black Cat number 1, art by Gleb Melnikov. Super thief, superhero. Felicia Hardy is the Black Cat, the world's most slyest, the most skilled super thief. She loves a good score. The longer the odds, the better. But her entire world turned upside down after the Amazing Spider-Man's battle with Hellgate, so Felicia is turning over a new leaf as New York City's finest and newest superhero. The first supervillain on our list, the Lizard, but will the Black Cat risk it all after her do-gooding moral high ground attracts dangerous attention from the lowest of the city's underworld? Easy. Kingpin of crime, she's still skimming off the top. Honest. Superstar G. Willow Wilson joins rising star Gleb Melnikov to chart the winding road of twists and turns, laughs, and mind-bending action of Black Cat's next exciting chapter. So yeah, that looks really, really fun as well. As I said, Black Cat's a character anytime that they do mini-series or anytime that, you know, there's one-shots, they always tend to do very well. A couple of big titles just worth mentioning because you can still get your pre-orders in for number 1, but they're reaching number 2 in August. Fantastic Four number 2, Rand North, Humberto Ramos, and also Captain America by Chip Zdarsky and Valerio Schiti. So those are going to be number 2s in August. The number 1s are due out in July. So if they interest you, you can get in touch with us still and we can guarantee those number 1s. Next up, we have Venom, Black, White, and Blood, number 1 of 4. So this is part of the Marvel Anthology line, which they like to do. They bring in different creators to tell short stories. They base it around a colour scheme, usually black, white, and red, or when they're slightly more violent, black, white, and blood. So the first issue is written by David Michelini, J.M. DeMatteis, and Rand North, with art by Jonas Scharf, Dave Wachter, and Chris Lee. Cover by Greg Capullo, and it is a beauty. We Are Venom, a collection of Venom stories from across the history of the symbiote, begins here, all rendered in Venom's own black and white and red. David Michelini and Jonas Scharf take us to the jungle as Venom stalks a vicious paramilitary science outfit bent on weaponizing Brock's symbiote. In the aftermath of Maximum Carnage, J.M. DeMatteis and Dave Wachter pit Eddie Brock against the family matter and the dark truth in Fathers and Sons. Rand North and Chris Lee put the lethal in Lethal Protector as Venom helps a kid get revenge. So yeah, those always tend to sell well as well. Moving along the book, you've got lots of stuff continuing. One World Under Doom is continuing with all its assorted tie-ins. You've got Imperial number 3. Of course, Imperial just started this week that I'm recording. A brand new Marvel event from Jonathan Hickman and Federico Vicentini. Amazing Spider-Man continuing here as far as issues 9 and 10. Joe Kelly continuing on the latest volume of that. We've got Muse turning up in Eddie Brock Carnage. We've got the Ultimate Universe spiraling along nicely. Ultimate Wolverine number 8, Ultimate Spider-Man number 20, Ultimate Black Panther. The Ultimate Universe continues to be a great success for Marvel, and definitely some of the best storytelling I think is told within those pages. But we continue through the book, move through the X stuff, and we find another new number 1 which we fired up on the board. And that number 1 is Predator Kills the Marvel Universe. Right here. So brand new number 1 under the tagline of No Hero Left Standing. So Predator Kills the Marvel Universe is going to be a 5-issue mini-series. This is number 1, launching in August. Benjamin Percy writing, Marcello Ferreira on art. A Predator Keen, a Vibranium Arsenal, and all-out invasion. It's the bloody kickoff to an epic battle between the Predators and Marvel heroes. A Predator Keen, emboldened by a new Vibranium Arsenal and aided by a surprising human ally, launches an all-out invasion of Earth, claiming the planet as a hunting preserve. You'll need to read to see just who, if anyone, will survive and to witness some shocking twists and turns as the entire Marvel Universe finds itself in the Predator's tri-laser crosshairs. So yeah, again, people have already been signing up for that. The Marvel Premier Collection is continuing to expand a little bit. This is sort of Marvel's answer to the DC Compact line. We've had a few books out already, like Daredevil Born Again and Civil War and Fantastic Four Solve Everything. The latest one solicited here is Wolverine Old Man Logan, written by Mark Miller with art by Steve McNiven. A bona fide classic right there. Omnibus-wise, we've got Spider-Man Brand New Day Omnibus Volume 2 coming. Now, this is an advance solicit. It's not until January of next year. But this is continuing on, which is leading into the Dan Slott run of Amazing Spider-Man. A truly amazing era of Spider-Man continues as the former Green Goblin seizes control of the Marvel Universe. What else have we got here? We go through, there's some collected editions. You got Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3 hitting, Ultimates Volume 2 hitting, Predator vs. Spider-Man, which has been tremendous fun so far. We've got Captain America Modern Era Epic Collection. The Ed Brubaker stuff is being released in that format. Cannot recommend that run enough. One of the absolute best runs in the history of comics, no less. Not to go too far into hyperbole. We've got Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale Hulk trade paperbacks. So they've been reprinting the Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale stuff. Keith and I did a book club on Daredevil Yellow, which was really a lot of fun. Obviously, Spider-Man Blue is a big one. But yeah, we've got Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Hulk coming out as well. A new printing. Revisit the Hulk's incredible early days through the unique Loeb and Sale lens as well. And yeah, plenty more besides. As I say, there's much more in the Marvel book. It's always a big, thick bad boy. So always worth running into the store, having a flick through it, and seeing what piques your interest. Moving away from Marvel, we'll go on to the Image catalogue. So again, Image is obviously doing their own catalogue these days. It used to be in the main previews book, but now it's just released through here. And what a opening page. I mean, it just screams, buy me, Alan. Recommend me, Alan. Escape number 1. So this is written by Rick Remender with art by Daniel Acuna. So it's continuing to come out through Rick Remender's Generator imprint at Image. It is boiled down to spies and espionage, World War II and Holocaust, action and adventure. This sounds awesome. It's basically the number 1 sort of launch of the month for Image. Shut Down, Hunted, Out of Time, the new ongoing two-fisted war epic from Remender and Acuna, starts here. From the creative team of New York Times best-selling author Rick Remender, Deadly Class, Uncanny X-Force, and powerhouse Daniel Lacuna, Captain America, Black Panther, the duo behind the lauded Uncanny Avengers run, comes a savage, full-throttle wartime thriller where survival isn't given, it's taken. Milton Shaw is a battle-hardened bomber pilot flying missions over a war-torn world ruled by a ruthless empire. But when his plane is shot out of the sky, Milton wakes up behind enemy lines in the smouldering ruins of a city he helped burn. And in less than 24 hours, his own side is dropping the big one to finish the job. Now injured, unarmed, and being hunted through enemy streets, Milton's only shot at escape comes from the unlikeliest place: a grieving father and his son, civilians shattered by the same fascist regime that rules this land with an iron claw. Enemies by blood, allies by circumstance, together they'll have to fight their way out before the bomb drops and erases everything and everyone. Set in a brutal, fully painted world of anthropomorphic animals, think Inglourious Basterds meets Black Sad. Escape is a gritty, bullet-riddled journey through war-scorched aftermath. It's about the violence we inflict, the souls we try to save, and the courage it takes to crawl out of the fire. That just sounds awesome. Next up, we have the next Universal Monsters title launching in August as well, with Universal Monsters The Invisible Man. This comes from the team of James Tynion IV, with art by Danny. James Tynion IV and Danny resurrect a horror icon. Jack Griffin has always been invisible to the people around him, at least in his own mind. But when an experimental breakthrough presents a path to make his dreams of invisibility a reality, no one, not even the woman he loves, will stand in his way. Witness Griffin's legendary descent into madness as his humanity fades away and the monster inside is revealed, leaving only the Invisible Man. The horror dream team of Tynion and Danny reveal their vision for one of the most horrific monsters in cinema history. So yeah, those Universal Monsters books, they keep on trucking along. They keep on doing very, very well. There's a few of them available in hardcover at this point if you are playing catch-up. So definitely recommend jumping into that. We continue on through the book and there's tons of great stuff. Exquisite Corpses continuing. The first issue of that was fantastic. Dust to Dust issue 7 of 8. That's another Giant Generator one by J.G. Jones. Farmhand has come back for its final story arc. The Energon universe continues on nicely, as does the Ghost Machine universe. Invincible Battle Beast continues. It was nice to have an Invincible book back on the single issue shelves. Walking Dead Deluxe, Void Rivals, tons and tons of great stuff as always through the Image book. We've got a new printing for My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies as part of the criminal line that Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips have been reprinting with a view to the show hitting Amazon soon. We have new Massive Verse books coming out. We have new compendiums for Spawn and so forth. So yeah, tons and tons of stuff as ever in the Image book, but definitely the two standouts there are Escape and The Invisible Man. Move along then to IDW, and this one has a rather interesting cover for Event Horizon Dark Descent. Event Horizon, of course, is very much a cult movie, I would say, at this point. Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, the madness of being trapped in space. Some good stuff. But before we get to there, IDW are focusing quite a lot on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the moment. And why wouldn't they? Because Jason Aaron has been knocking it out of the park. Well, there's now a new series launching, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder #1. Comes from a really good team as well. Dan Waters on story elements and Michelle Bandini on art. As a dark new power rises from the shadows of New York, so does a much darker power return to the city streets for revenge. One of the most terrifying villains in the history of comics is back and more deadly than ever. Returned forever changed by a maddening ordeal beyond imagining, the Shredder is a man out of time, betrayed by all around him, without the Foot Clan, and quite possibly insane. When one of his former foot prodigies forms their own rival clan with infernal designs on New York, a recovering Shredder must quest deep into the criminal underworld where enemies both old and new will discover what defiance will bring them at the end of the Shredder's blades. Dan Waters, the celebrated writer of Batman Dark Patterns, Nightwing, Lucifer, Six Fingers, and Homesick Pilots, teams with Michelle Bandini, Batman Incorporated, Spider-Man City of War, to tell the rags to revenge story of the ultimate Ronin. That sounds great. I mean, they've been expanding that Turtles universe really nicely with a couple of sort of shorter stories, shorter series. But the main title by Jason Aaron, I really can't recommend it enough. Another thing they're focusing quite a bit on, IDW, is Star Trek. And this one I know will appeal to quite a few people. Star Trek Voyager Homecoming, a brand new #1 launching in August. Story by Susan Bridges and Tilly Bridges with art by Angel Hernandez. Captain Catherine Janeway and her crew are back for one last adventure in celebration of Voyager's 30th anniversary. Picking up where the series finale left off, Voyager has just returned to Earth. Everyone is looking forward to reuniting with their friends and family after the crucibles they faced. But there's a deadly secret in store, one that takes the crew far from home. Voyager delves back into the breach, all those aboard determined to make it back to their loved ones no matter what, even if there's hell to pay. Star Trek prodigy consultants Tilly and Susan Bridges have teamed up with Sons of Star Trek artist Angel Hernandez to spin a heart-pounding tale that pays homage to all that came before and delivers the ending that fans have waited decades for. No pressure at all right there. But yeah, as I say, we were bringing up Event Horizon, and here we go. Event Horizon Dark Descent. So a brand new book launching there. This is going to be written by Christian Ward and art by Tristan Jones. The Event Horizon was a revolutionary spaceship designed for one mission, faster than light travel with a top secret and experimental gravity drive. But upon activating the device, the ship journeyed across the borders of hell itself. In a nightmarish realm of torments beyond imagining, Captain Kilpack and the first crew of the Event Horizon must resist all manner of demonic forces, including Paimon, the Iris King of Hell, and their own descents into madness and bloodlust, if they have any chance of escaping back to their own world. Abandon all hope on board the Event Horizon with multiple Eisner Award-winning Christian Ward and powerhouse sci-fi artist Tristan Jones in this unbelievable story of the true and final fate of the original Event Horizon crew. This original 5-issue miniseries serves as an official prequel to the film. That sounds really good. Event Horizon, I haven't seen it in a couple of years. Admittedly, I must go back and give it a watch because, as I say, the cast in it's incredible. I get put off it because it was Paul W.S. Anderson who directed it, who went on to make those horrible Resident Evil movies and many more horrible movies as well. But Event Horizon always seems to be sort of held up and lauded as his masterpiece. So that is IDW side of things done as well as Image. And we finish off then just with the main previews book. So the main previews book, as I say, it doesn't hold anywhere near as much as it used to. Again, everything used to be in here, but now it's sort of a mixture of Titan, Dynamite, and one or two other publishers. But there's still some stuff definitely worth pointing out. So the first one is definitely Harley Quinn times Elvira. Dynamite are certainly expanding at the moment, putting out some titles that are doing well in our store, I have to say. Things like Thundercats, for example. Harley Quinn times Elvira number 1. What happens when the clown princess of crime gets bored? Shenanigans, hijinks, grievous bodily harm. The possibilities are endless. Now add in a certain macabre-minded TV host who seems to attract trouble like crypts attract vampires. And the stage is set for the greatest team-up since Frankenstein met his bride. With her beloved show on the chopping block following a corporate takeover, Elvira needs to come up with a plan to get things back in the black. And her new friend Harley Quinn has an idea that's just crazy enough to work. Together, they're going to throw the greatest Halloween party Brooklyn has ever seen, whether the borough likes it or not. Written by Amanda Connor and Jim Lee Palmiotti, the world-famous tag team of all things Harley Quinn, this crossover event for the ages from Dynamite and DC Comics also showcases Amanda's fan-favourite artistic chops, with each issue featuring two Connor covers. And that's not all. She's also joining interior artist and Elvira favourite Juan Samu to provide selected story pages for the series. So that is probably going to be pretty popular in store. Any Harley stuff always does well. So it's maybe not too surprising that they're continuing to branch out there. Another one from Dynamite worth mentioning is Sonya Reborn. So this is going to be a lovely jumping on point for anybody who wants to get into the world of Red Sonya. It is written by Christopher Priest with art by Alessandro Miracolo. In a contest to decide the fate of the world, the ancient gods, the light and the dark, transport Maggie Sutherland, a young British clerk, from the year 2025 into the worlds of Hyboria, where she awakens transformed into the renowned Harukanan Bellatrix, Red Sonja. Thrown headlong into a realm of gods and monsters, Maggie must quickly learn how to survive both the harsh environment and the constant threats posed by friends and foes alike as she struggles to find her way home. So a couple of bits and pieces there from Dynamite that I'm sure will appeal to a few of our regular customers. Dynamite, as I say, have definitely been expanding what they've been doing recently. We'll move on from there and on to Titan Comics. We have Lots of great Conan stuff, as you might expect. So Conan the Barbarian 23, bit of a jumping on point for people. This is written by Jim Zub, art by Fernando Dagnino. The great serpent's influence twists and turns, pulling Conan into their deadly coils, as the Sumerian and his allies are lured into Stygia. What they found on this journey will make their blood run cold and set the stage for a conflict beyond their wildest imagination. The other good thing Titan's doing at the moment is they're reprinting a lot of the old Conan stuff done through omnibuses, for example, and I've been really enjoying those, primarily because the new Conan book is so good and it just really does evoke the spirit of the old one. So that is there. What else do I have? So we're moving into Boom. I mean, it's a bit of a sad state of affairs for previews at the moment. Look at all these covers to be revealed. You know, it doesn't really help retailers when looking at stuff that's going to catch the eye. But some things will still stick out, such as this. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, number 1. Written by Ram Parrott, art to BD. They're really not making this easy. The crossover sensation is back for a third epic adventure when, with Rita and Krang defeated, the bad guys aren't cutting the Rangers and Turtles no slack. Lord Zed and Shredder have a new plan to take down the radical teen heroes, and if they don't act carefully, they may just succeed. The amazing new series from veteran Mighty Morphin Power Rangers writer Ram Parrott kicks off with a moment you have to see to believe. So there you go. That is through Boom Studios. Let's see. We've got Dark Horse here. One or two cool looking things here. The first would definitely be this, Adventures of Lumen N, number 1. This is written by James Robinson with art by Phil Hester. The year is 1901 and our heroine Lumen is a precocious 13-year-old with many questions about her life. Why has her father been gone for years? Why must she learn so many languages and fighting techniques, and what's with the lessons in seafaring? Then an attack on her home by a horde of steampunk assassins delivers the first glimmer of an answer, when Lumen's savior reveals himself as her grandfather, the legendary Captain Nemo, one of the greatest characters in Victorian science fiction literature. A brand new world of steampunk adventure and thrills is about to open up for Lumen as she connects with her grandfather she never knew, while together they take on a cabal of evil masterminds intent on world domination. That sounds great. I'll be definitely getting onto that myself. Let's see, so flicking through. Nothing else really catches the eye too much from Dark Horse. I mean, there's lots of stuff here, and I'm sure there's lots of stuff that will appeal to many of our customers, but as I say, it's hard to go through it sometimes and not just point out absolutely everything. So flicking on through the book, we go past the Archie comics. What I'm going to go to is Vault comics, because Vault usually have some good stuff. They focus a lot on horror books and science fiction and fantasy. So I have a sneaky feeling that once I get there might be one or two good things. Either that or they're going to leave me hanging and there's going to be absolutely nothing. And you guessed it, there is absolutely nothing. So yeah, that is probably going to do it then for the previews book for this month. Nothing else really jumps out too much. But yeah, as I say, the previews books are always in store for you to have a flick through at your own leisure. And as I say, you'll probably pick out a few more things than what I have done. Again, they're always up at the counter and always spread across the tables in the store as well. So this is obviously the June books. The cutoff point, I believe, is in about 3 weeks' time from posting this. So roughly about the 24th, I think. They're thereabouts. But as ever, if anything appeals to you, just get in touch. We'll get it added to pull lists. Guarantees you cover A, guarantees you titles on release day, guarantees you first prints without fail, and always a cover price, and always backed and boarded as well. So just to protect those issues. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. As I say, it's a little bit of a makeshift setup this month. Just Keith away on holiday for a couple of weeks, well-deserved holiday for a couple of weeks. I'm sure he'll be back by my side before too long. But in the meantime, hope you enjoyed this. I hope it proved useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the store soon. Take it easy.